But something that we're also watching this morning is the electric vehicle space. The Biden administration proposing new standards to build 500,000 electric vehicle charging stations with additional funds to source the minerals needed for batteries and other components. For more on this, let's bring in autos guru, Yahoo Finance, Pras Subramanian. Pras, this announcement kind of going a little bit under the radar. We know that President Biden was on Jimmy Kimmel yesterday, was talking about a number of topics. But, important to know, EVs, such a priority for the administration. How important is the infrastructure for these charging networks with that announcement?
This is a big deal, right? Because we're talking about just this changing of our entire system from gas-powered fossil fuels to electric. So this is basically about standardizing the network that they want to build, right? So we have the money in place, $5 billion for the highway system and $2.5 billion for rural places for grants to build out their EV charging infrastructure. So what they want to do is they want to put something like, one charging station every 50 miles on the highway, right? Less than a mile off the actual highway itself. They want to add at least 4 DC fast charging chargers per station. They want to have the actual connector be standardized, right? The J132 and then for AC charging, and then there's other CCS1 for DC. So there's a lot of technical stuff like that. Yeah, but that's kind of the key, right? Is they want to make sure that this is standardized across the country. You can drive your car from here to California and know you can stop and not feel worried about range anxiety. So that's just a big part of that. And it's kind of like there's no surprise that the Biden administration is doing this because they want to tackle high gas prices too. I was talking to Rick Newman about this. He said it was no surprise that Secretary Granholm, Secretary Buttigieg were on this call last night. They want to show that they're really on top of this, and that's part of that is this not only just the transformation of our economy, but also the high gas prices.
Well, the 500,000 number, though, has been out there for some time, right?
Yeah,
a few months into the administration, that was kind of one of the grand goals that Biden put out. But especially now, it's not just about the infrastructure. It's also about the availability of these EVs. We keep hearing about some of these car makers not being able to meet the demand. We did get some news abroad today, though, with European lawmakers saying that they will move towards banning the sale of all new gas-powered vehicles by 2035, which is a pretty aggressive timeline. In the U.S., it's 50% of new sales by 2035.
Yeah, and in the U.S., it's a target, right? Here, they're actually saying, no, this is what it's going to be like. We're going to actually ban all 100% of gas-powered sales by 2035. I think they have a 55% goal in 2030. So they're very aggressive in that sense. They have been that way for a while now, and this is the EU kind of passing that legislation. And it kind of gives some certainty, too, to the automakers to know what they have to do by that point. But I think they're also a little bit concerned about, global uncertainty, things like that. Why are we locking this in? Why is it set in stone? Give us some flexibility to maybe address that if we have another Ukraine, for instance, things like that.
Could you ever see the United States doing something similar? Just saying, hey, no more gasoline. No new sales of gasoline cars.
Well, they've said that by 2050.
Right.
Yeah.
But to mandate it is another story versus saying we're going to target or focus or propose this sort of thing. So that's the big difference here between us and the EU.
Yeah, I would just point out that in California, that's kind of been the goal they've set out. 2028, I think by the Olympics is what they've been aiming for. So those lofty goals are out there. It's just to your earlier point, if the infrastructure doesn't follow, if the cars aren't affordable, can you get to those numbers?
I want to add one quick point about this is that in the report that the draft rules, they're talking about how they did a study, something around 20% of charging ports or chargers across the country aren't even working. They're there, but they're not working. So they have to address that. They want to have 98% of these things working. And then also give you the ability to see what's available when you go up, to actually have real-time information as to what's coming up when you.
Is that an experience that you've kind of come across often, testing EV vehicles?
Yeah, anecdotally, I've seen ports that need actual software update. They need to be updated. I can't do that. How do I plug it in? So it can be a little bit nerve-wracking and definitely stressful when you're driving, especially in rural areas.
I get frustrated when I can't find a city bike. Dock,
yeah, I know. It's
right? The same thing, essentially, though.
Or you can't.
You got to go drive, so you got to wheel around 4 more blocks.
Or the docks are all full.
Yeah, that's the worst.
Yeah.
That's the worst.
All right, EVs and city bikes. 2 things to take care of there.
All right, Pras, thanks so much for that.